He's on the Tom Coughlin scale. He's got his cup of coffee. He's 5 minutes early, which means that he's on time, at least in that scale. And so, of course, we always have to start the segment by running this.
Hey, Glenn Davis here in Houston, Texas. A big fan of soccer down here. And remember, soccer matters.
And he's absolutely correct. It does. What is up, sir?
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me on, as always. I have to, again, commend you. You've got an outstanding studio. You put me to shame.
Well, this took a lot of work and a lot of okey doke from the boss. And the boss, she is the interior designer, and she is the one who sits there and says, "Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do this. That'll work." Like I said, the train track finally died. By the way, we had to have it reinforced. You see the L joints like right here.
I do.
After 13 years of that happening, they finally sunk, and the only reason that the whole thing didn't explode was because it was up against the curtain rod at the back. And so the curtain rod saved the whole thing from collapsing down. We brought in the handyman, and so there's L joints now here and L joints on this one. And she had to reinforce the rod back here because I put too many winter scarves up. And so she had to reinforce that. And the secret, Pier 1 Imports, the triple layer shower rod. That works. And that's how I've gotten here and back there to work the way that it has. So triple rack shower rods from Pier 1 Imports and a reinforced train track from our handyman that he put in when we started the studio space.
And you do pull-ups and commercial break.
I do that before I go to bed. I take 45 minutes before I go to bed and absolutely just stretch out the day, do some isometrics and get all that stuff done, because if I did like push-ups and things like that, my body would rebel and it would sit there and look at me and go, "Bro, what are you doing? This does not work." I got a lot to get into with you this morning. My laundry list is full. Before you came in, and I'm asking this to you because of your history in Major League Soccer and because of your history as a professional athlete. The news that came down yesterday about the indefinite suspensions involving Derek Jones and Yaya Boa, and where gambling was, I could use the word infiltrated, but gambling was a part of their purview, and they decided that, oh, okay, hey, what if you get a yellow card? And they were betting on themselves and their own teams. Lifetime ban given by Major League Soccer. When you saw that news came up yesterday, what went through your mind when you were trying to process that?
First word is inevitable.
Yeah.
Based on doing business with gambling and everything. I'm not a gambler, so I don't know the full details on all this, but I do know it's very attractive to people. It brings fans to specific sports that may not come at all. And then swift, hard action, I think, is the only way to go here. Lifetime ban is pretty harsh, but you know what? That's just to potentially challenge the integrity of the game is as bad as it can get.
And when you were a professional athlete, were there any kind of like $5 bets off the side with players and things like that, or was it like the legit no, I'm not even going there, and the game is the game, and we're not going to mix the two?
It wasn't even. I mean, there may have been some guys having fun on the side, or a lot of that occurred actually in ethnic leagues, but not in the USL or the ASL, which I played in, because there wasn't the money in it. I mean, let's be honest, right? There wasn't the money in it, so yeah, this isn't even a thought back then.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was like the little side bet deals or anything like that. Hey, I'll slip $5 out of my shoe if you do this one thing or another like that on the bench. My biggest stuff with you, and there's a lot to get into in and around the city of Houston. So this is almost going to be like a Houston potpourri for you this time around. A lot of folks have come out on social media, and they have pretty much opened up their flamethrowers toward the ownership group in Houston because you are not a part of the broadcasts in 2026. And it was stunning to hear, even more stunning to see. And then when folks in the market ask questions, the answers that were given by those in positions of power, you instantly refuted on your show, which we will have you promote as many times as you wish here in this particular segment. But it was distressing, it was disappointing, and it continues to be so on a couple of different fronts. The it's not even really a back and forth. It's just literally, it is ownership says one thing, and then you come on and you refute it with your, with your elements and your discussions. I mean, what has this 90 days been like where you're not doing the Dynamo? You're still a force in the business, but you're not doing something that folks in the Houston area and Dynamo fans on this and any other planet, they're like, we've always been with GD and now we don't have it. What has this 90 days been like as we've been working through all of this stuff?
Well, it's a pretty different time period for me. I mean, having done the league since its inception in '96, like other guys like JP Dellacamera, like Dave Johnson, it definitely has been a change. I can tell you that when Houston's playing or it's an MLS weekend, yeah, it does bother me. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't wish I was behind a microphone and at a live game and calling the league. I felt I've been a good servant to the league over these years. I've created my own radio show that has supported the league. Nobody has covered the Houston Dynamo to the extent that I have, including back in, it hasn't been a great 13 or 14 years here. This team hasn't won an MLS Cup since in 18 years. So, when you go back to the well of 6 and 7, it's a great memory, but that's a long time ago. And it's kind of, what have you done for us lately? But it has been difficult. It's an interesting time period because you learn a lot about yourself. It's different. I'm more independent now. I'm trying to create different things. I love, just like you do, I love talking the game. I love being a part of it. But I also, in my city, like to push the envelope of it being better. And unfortunately, you get deemed a threat by these ownership groups that have been here, and they're weak, and they're not great leaders. They're here for the appreciation game, which we all know what that is in MLS, because there's only so much professional content out there people can buy and then sit on like an investment. Now, some people might be saying, well, they had a great crowd. Yeah, well, of course, that happens at the beginning of the year. The question is, where is it a year from now, 2 years from now? And the vision is never laid out. These are the types of questions that I've tried to ask people. They don't want to really give you answers. They say we're going to be really communicative and more transparent. Never happens. They don't use the institutional knowledge of Houston. These front office people in Houston, with all due respect, and they're probably great people, they have no understanding of the Houston market. We're not a small market. We're one of the largest cities in the country. Why aren't we going after it and getting ownership like a Miami or an Atlanta? Or why aren't we bigger? Because it's a big city, and the Dynamo and Dash are not relevant here. So, I'm kind of going roundabout here, but this has been going on. This is not a new thing. Okay. The prior ownership was the same way, and it's just tiring. It's tiring for someone, for people that, care about the sport here in Houston. This is one of the best soccer cities in America. I know everybody says that from the standpoint of participants. The cultural ownership of the game is people that play it, coach it, referee it, organize, by the way, buy tickets, right? The attendance at Energy Stadium is why we have a World Cup. It's not top down, it's bottom up here. And sometimes I just feel like the MLS product is treated like a line item.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes comes from The Art of War, from Sun Tzu. And I know that everybody's looking at me going, Nelson, you actually know about The Art of War and Sun Tzu? And I'm like, yeah, man. Everybody who runs a business, is in business, should have this book on their shelves, because the language is universal. And one of my favorite quotes that I have always stuck to is, trust the local guides, for they know the terrain.
Mm.
And that is something that I have had as one of my tent poles ever since I've been in this business. And when you have something that sadly is treated like a line item, because you and I have talked on this show in the past about if you were Grand Exalted Poobah of Houston soccer and how you would want to embrace everything and have everything interlocked and grow every aspect of it to where Houston is Katie bar the door, good luck catching up with us, and we're like number one and you can't touch us, whether it's Dynamo Dash, youth, the whole thing. This is a topic, sadly, that you and I have had to continue to address ever since you've been coming with us in this 10-year run. And it's disappointing that in this case specifically, where you're concerned, that you are a part of the fabric of that sport here in the United States, and specifically there since you're based in Houston. And for whatever reason, they're just kind of like, nah. And it's sad that they want to go down that route. And the way that all of this has come out, it's disrespectful in a lot of different ways.
Oh, and that's the big piece, and you nailed it. It's disrespectful to the soccer community. It's disrespectful to the city. It's paint a pretty picture. It's just put a tsunami of social media out. Look at all the things we're doing. But at some point, with the amount of years this keeps going on, you just go, how heartfelt is this really? Okay, and do you really believe people believe this? We want it to be better here. And why can't we want it to be better? And wanting it to be better means that as quote unquote journalists, you ask hard questions. You should be allowed, without anybody getting their panties in a hold or in a fold, you should be allowed to ask, hey, why isn't the team more relevant here? What are you doing to correct it? Why is the attendance low? Yeah. What are you doing to correct it? And, a couple of months of success doesn't change it. It just then falls back. And it's like a stock that just might move a little bit and then goes back. It's just the same thing, and it's fatiguing. And, we're going to spice the team up now. We're going to spend a lot this year, and we're going to tell everybody how much we're spending now. Yeah, after the team got gutted last year and you basically wasted an entire year. I mean, what does that say to a fan base about ambition? So, I don't want this to be
no.
We can talk about some things that are a little bit more positive, but I do think it's important to dial in on these things, because there are differing franchises doing things differently in MLS, and there are definitely owners that are in this for investment only.
Yeah.
And that's portrayed, and then you have to look at it and look at the picture being painted for you, the smoke and mirrors. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that I could complain about with Houston, both on the competitive side and where it lies in the community. And, one hand, people are saying, we want to be like the NFL. We want to be like MLB. We want to be like the NBA. You can't be like that if you're going to just corral and curb anybody's real interest in putting things on the table and talking about the game deeper. I've never been disrespectful to anybody. I have been a little bit more at the end aggressive on my radio show, but I never mixed that and the play-by-play call of the game ever. Right. I had a strict rule. You don't. Your thoughts on a radio show are not coming across. You're calling a game, and that's for everybody. So, it's kind of a tough. It's tough not being involved, but look, life happens. You go on.
Yeah, And one of the approaches that we have tried to have here, considering as much time as we spend, Jason being on color for Atlanta United and Maddie doing play-by-play for Atlanta United too, as part of our stuff here at the SDH, where it's me and Jason and Maddie and everybody doing the twos and all that. We want to have discussions, but we're not going to sit there and we're not going to sit here and rage about anything. We're not going to deal in the extremes. We're going to be pragmatic in our approach. We're going to be journalistic with a J in our approach. We're not going to get too bent out of shape about things and try to give it context as we go. And so that's why we've tried to be just rather level-headed and have discourse.
Are you saying I'm not level-headed, Joe?
You've got the best level head of anybody I've seen, man. That lettuce of yours has always behaved.
Look, situations are different for everybody. You have to remember, I've been here since 1984. I played on a professional soccer team. I ran a youth club. I get a break in television and radio. I'm sitting around one day and I'm doing MLS in the early years. I'm like, how come we don't have a radio show and we're not talking about the issues around the league?
Yeah.
So I go to public radio, spend some time there, learn how to do radio, move the thing to mainstream radio, and now I've been on for 22 years. So it's a little bit different in, first of all, the amount of time I've been here and being a little older than you guys. So,
brother, you're not that much older than me. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, my intention was, yes, I want to be a broadcaster, but I wanted to be something beyond that in Houston. And I had opportunities to go to other markets and call MLS. And of course, I went off and did HDNet while doing the Dynamo and Fox Sports World and other things and international games. I absolutely loved it. But I always wanted to be a part of the Houston soccer community because I've seen it just grow. And I don't like seeing, to your point, the disrespect to the soccer community in the city from these outsiders who come in and run a team and go to the same sources that have really defanged the MLS product after a wonderful entry here from San Jose. Mm-hmm. And after Oliver Luck left, that was the problem. After Oliver left, we lost our Houston connection at a high level of executive. And that's where it went downhill. But anyway, let's talk about something else.
All right. Well, let's talk about said Dynamo. 97 players egressed in the offseason, and you brought in another handful. Two of the names that come to the front of the table are Madi Bogusz and Ache Ache. Ache Ache raised an eyebrow for me when they were bringing him back, considering his exit. Yeah. And I was intrigued, and I had the question mark bubble over my head on that one. And then you spend money, you bring in Madi Bogusz. What have you thought about them in the first 3 match days so far on the whole?
Yeah, so since they didn't play in New England, it's been 2 games. It's a small sample size. I think Bogusz is going to end up doing very, very well, John. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's a guy who knows Major League Soccer. He had struggles down at Cruz Azul with injuries and things, but I think he's an excellent player. He could turn into a good storyline in Houston. If Poland qualify for the World Cup and he's a part of that roster, he could potentially be playing for Poland here in Houston. Ache Ache was a little bit of a head scratcher. I think the big piece people need to know is he's got family here and his kids in Houston. So he really wanted to be back. And my understanding is he came to the organization. So they got him probably for a song and a dance this time. Okay. What his role's going to actually be, I don't know. He only played 354 minutes last year at Cruz Azul. 2023, the guy was magnificent. He basically was coaching the team. He ran the team. That was one of the best watches ever. And unfortunately, it did not do anything for the attendance and the relevancy because they did not know how to utilize him from a marketing standpoint. And that has been a problem here also, is the marketing and promotion of the team. We have a bunch of players from South America. That's the model now. You bring them in, you park them in your Dynamo 2 team, and then you move them up to the first team. But nobody's star building these guys. Nobody to the public is explaining who these players are and giving a lot of background on them. They'd rather be talking about a ticket package or, something else that, so the needle needs to move towards football, and the guys actually playing the game who can actually attract people to your stadium. So got a big center back now that they brought in. They do have an injury with Artur, but the roster 100% is better from a competitive standpoint, 100% better, but there was no way to go but up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Bogusz, I like the guy Guilherme. He had a good opening game, the Brazilian. He can be a threat behind defenses. The move of Griffin Dorsey, that was a head scratcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to have seen him in this sort of new system with 3 center backs. And that one, because that was a guy off the field who wanted to do a lot. I mean, he came to 1 or 2 of my live events, and he's like, Glenn, I want to do more of this. And I go, well, you got to push your organization. I mean, tell them. I mean, you don't want to play in a half-empty stadium. If you're an MLS player and you're in one of these markets that doesn't draw, right? And you're looking at, the LAs, the Miamis, the places that are packing them in. You're just going, yeah, I want that.
And yeah, and like I said, you and I could have a good separate discussion on how to reach community outreach and what's missing and all these other kinds of things with Dynamo. Let me go to the Dash and go there, because last week we were discussing that the Dash are now back on the market, and second time in 2 years. And I'm guessing that I think what they're looking at, a valuation of like 140 or something like that was what I had seen. Where is this in the pipeline? How far down the road are we? This is where I'm asking you, what does this mean? Where are we when it comes to the Dash? And then I've obviously got follow-up questions. But with the sale and proposed sale and on the market, the Caldwell Banker sign is in the front, the front yard of the office. What are you seeing here?
So the first thing I would just say here is, tells you about ambition, doesn't it? Right? Yeah. Tells you a little bit about ambition and your want of women's sports, right? Women's soccer. So first of all, to give context, this is an amazing soccer tab. This, from women's soccer's perspective, we have college programs. We have a 50-year-old Houston Women's Soccer Association. We have oodles and boatloads and baskets of female players that fill rosters all over the country in universities and colleges. And a lot of them end up getting into the professional game. And in fact, Houston Dash just signed some very good ACC players that Casey will know about. Leah Clanky from Notre Dame is a local product. So the resources are here to do it right, and it should be a happening, and it's not. It's been dead. The numbers I see for attendance are totally fudged. And again, these women want to play in front of real crowds. So the Dash has not been taken seriously. Now, that doesn't mean there's some people there like Coach Gautra. He's working real hard to try and turn this into a better product. They've made the playoffs once in 13 years. Okay, so there's your context. So my understanding is Sportico, that first sale, had the Dash valued at $70 million.
Okay.
So a 24-year-old Chinese kid comes in, maybe he's not a kid, and offers $120 million. So, we're all sitting here scratching our head. Okay, what's that about? Now, I think if you really think about it, you'll figure out what it's about. His father was in prison, had communist ties.
Yes, I remember.
So put 1 and 1 together, and it's a place to put money. I think 100% the Houston Dash owner would have taken that money, no question. That happens. People still take the money. And the league blocked it because they knew this was not a good.
Yeah, they're going like, wait a minute. So you want to go here?
Probably not a good thing. And then comparatively, you see the valuation of the Dash, and these things are tricky comparatively to some of the teams on the West Coast, and it's not even close, right? They made the playoffs one year, and they had a coach, Juan Carlos Amoros, who left for Gotham. He did not want to stay here. He should have been retained. He should have been made the coach and GM for a year. Let him do that part of it and then groom somebody for the role. I mean, these were easy decisions to make, in my opinion. They weren't even difficult. He leaves. He goes. I think he's won, what, 2 NWSL titles at Gotham? 1 or 2?
He has not done poorly, no.
No, and he's also won, I think, the international tournament as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were in it. They were in it, and they were in the big tournament over in England, and they got bumped out by Flamengo 1-0.
One of the Brazilian teams who played very well. That was very impressive to see what the Brazilian teams are doing. And I watched that game, and it's just a reminder that the world is catching up. We always knew that when these soccer cultures in the places like Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, wherever, started investing in this, taking this seriously, that the gap would narrow pretty quickly, and it has. It's just, again, it's another incredible opportunity that's being missed here for the women's game. I'm a big fan of the women's game, called Women's World Cups College, NWSL championships in the past, in the early years. And I just see how healthy a game it is, and what it can be, and how the women's game has just grown exponentially. So, it's just another missed opportunity. Nobody knows about the team. It's not relevant, and there you go. He wants to get rid of it. And that's called offloading expense. And I will tell you this, John, it was not a good move to have added this team when it was added, 2014, because at that time, the core business, the Dynamo, was struggling hugely. I mean, we've had lots of bad years down here. Yeah, you're going to occasionally make the playoffs in MLS. Come on, 18 out of 30 teams make it, and you'll get a blip. The question is do you then ascend from that? Does it lead to more relevancy? Does it lead to more marketing, media coverage, and all this? It never does. This was not the time to bring in a women's team here, because just to acquire it without putting resources into it and building it and growing it and having a plan to make it something special, and that's why you're where you are.
Do you anticipate the Dash, and this is just a gut question, do you anticipate the Dash staying if they are purchased by a new owner, considering their situation?
That's a good question. I would not think that the league would want a franchise to be moved, because that doesn't look good.
And it also takes away from an expansion fee from a market that they could be getting it from.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people logically say, oh, what about Austin, or what about, other places, San Antonio. But, yeah, I don't think the league would want the team to be moved.
Okay. This World Cup thing that's going on, I don't know if you've heard about it. It has
about it more down here.
Yeah, it has its thing. You have been hitting it as hard as humanly possible. And what we have been trying to do is reaching out to each individual market and talking to folks of import and power and getting progress reports as we're going, where they are with infrastructure, whether the challenges still, since we're under 100 days, are you panicking yet? Are you pulling out your hair? Are you comfortable? Are you cool? Where is Houston right now in preps for this World Cup thing that's coming up? How comfortable are you with outreach, all of the extracurriculars, infrastructure? Where are you right now in seeing all of this coming to the fore? Where are you right now with that?
We've had some really interesting things going on. So I think it's at a simmer. I think it's pretty amazing that a lot of people are not aware of what's coming. And that includes just the general public and businesses. There's a lot of infrastructure being changed right now. They're doing a lot of work down where the fan zone is going to be. There's a promenade being put in on Main Street downtown. So there's a lot of that you can visibly see. There are some announcements, legacy and things like that, which get put out. They don't have a lot of details. Nobody ever asks any questions about what it exactly is. But it's like checking a box, I think. Mm-hmm. But I think the general awareness is not where I would think it should be. I mean, I think the soccer culture obviously knows. And we got probably 2.5 million, 3 million soccer fans here in Houston, and they come from all over the world. They're all fully aware. I think the business community is starting to get a little bit more aware. I think the general consciousness is getting aware. But I the committee I know has a lot of things to do, but I will say they don't get passing marks on the ability to weave the entire city and soccer community into this massive event that's coming. I think they're not doing well with that. It's kind of closed door. It seems to be events for corporate people. It doesn't expand out, to the person playing soccer every night on the field, and there's ways you can do that and weave an entire community into it. But look, we got Germany, we got the Netherlands, we got Portugal, we got an amazing, group of European teams coming here, which, we're used to getting South America and Central America. So, we'll see. It's pretty fascinating. Everything going on politically, is in the minds of everybody. So we'll see.
And you are hitting it every single, it seems like, how many days of the week? Do you have 13 days of the week now that you're doing Soccer Matters?
We're doing it once a week. I got a live show tonight. I have 2 shows, and then we have a show, Destination 2026, which is more World Cup related, where we try to keep people updated on things. I had Claudio Pissarro from Bayern Munich on there, who played for Peru. So one of the really great outgrowths of this, and I know you guys know a lot about this, John, is that a lot of us have just said, you know what, if the committee is not going to weave us all in and they can't do that, then we're going to do it ourselves. And that's really what's going on. So we're trying to, a lot of people, different groups are taking control of the soccer community, providing content. There's business groups doing things and having panels and helping people set up to do well business-wise and tie themselves into the sport. This sport is not going to have a legacy because the World Cup was here. We already have a legacy. We have professional soccer back to the 60s. This is going to be a legacy in that it's a World Cup, and it's going to be another bump. People are going to have this as a benchmark in their lives. Hey, remember when I went with Dad to the game 20 years ago at Energy Stadium? You're going to get that in Atlanta. We're going to get that all over the country. These are magical moments. But the sport's going to continue to thrive, hopefully get a good bump, and it's never going away down here. So I like the grassroots, independent efforts that a lot of different people are putting in. We're doing World Cup events where we're watching movies, and 30 or 40 people are coming to these. We're talking about the games. We're looking back at history. We're seeing how the game has changed. So it's all healthy.
All right. If you would please, sir, hit the blatant promo alert and let us know how we can consume everything that is Glenn Davis.
Well, shameless promotion, Twitter and Instagram at Glenn Davis Sock. We're even on, believe it or not, I never thought it would occur, but we're on TikTok.
You're doing the TikToks.
We're on. Well, when you go independent, John, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's
Jason and Maddie know the TikToks, man. I'm just kind of sitting there and going, let me.
Well, I can't say I'm actually putting it up there myself, so I have to be honest. Also, Facebook and everything else, and then Soccer Matters is on every Tuesday, ESPN 97.5. So it's fun. I love it. I know you guys love it too. We love the game, and I think it's important that people like us, are out there asking legit questions, enjoying it, having fun with it. And, one day I'll get a life.
And by the way, for those that may not know, the man's got the gear back out. We can get the T-shirts, and we get the hats too still, right?
Yeah, you can get the hats. We got a new T-shirt. So this is another out. So I'm doing with a local artist who is a really creative guy. Some T-shirts now. His name is Adonis, but he's done a lot of really interesting baseball T-shirts. So me and him are doing a collaboration. So these are the fun things that come out of it. You get to know somebody else and what they've done, and you work together, and it's a lot of fun. By the way, I was at the World Baseball Classic last night, and never was I at a baseball game, USA and Mexico, that felt like I was at a soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can assure you, there's no Astros game that had the atmosphere, except maybe the playoffs, like that last night, because the stadium was 50% Mexico fans and 50% US fans. And it was really, really interesting to be there and to see it. The wave was going. And I have to think, this World Baseball Classic for Major League Baseball is a great thing.
I can't wait to see you at the juice box down there downtown wearing a lucha mask that's got the Soccer Matters logo on it.
Well, I would do the blue. Who's the blue guy? The Blue Demonico, who's a good guy.
Yeah,
I would wear the Blue Demonico mask. And there was a button. That's a guy 3 seats away had the Blue Demonico mask on.
Oh, that's strong.
It was cool. It was cool. It was just so much fun and just different. It was great to see people with smiles on their face, having a great time, rooting for their teams. It was good.